You're officially absent without leave. On the wanted list.
I think I'm safe now. I've got a story to tell you. It's all about spies. And if it's true, which I think it is, you boys are going to need a whole new organization. Right? Shall I start with the day you sent me to Lisbon? Changed my life. You might find it's going to change all your lives. Our resident buffoon, old galloping major called Tufty Thesinger, wanted a helping hand. My boss says you've got your eyes on a likely piece of merchandise for us. Well, what's his style then, this Boris?
He's a real flash Harry. Exactly, not your common garden Russian granite face at all. During the day, he fulfills his norm like the rest of his mob. There's a whole mixed bag of technical advisors here. Boris is with civil engineers. Come nightfall, he makes his own arrangements. That's just a farce. The club says there's never going to be another tomorrow. The man hasn't slept for a week, and my boys are folding at the knees.
A young Muscovite with official connections and that kind of appetite for the flesh pots seems ripe for the picking. Always use another defector, can't we?
Absolutely. Got to keep in stock. Nothing else on him apart from the booze?
I've got something to blackmail him on. I would have hardly needed London to come and fix it. Would I?
Temper, Tufty.
You think the Russians disapprove of comfort? You're wrong, that's the Chinese. All miserable boiler suits and the smallest comfort for the biggest number. Yeah? Not for me. Boris looks after number one, like any real person the white world over. You know, it's nice talking to you like this. Some people, when I say from Moscow, I see this look in their faces. It's so funny. I know what they're thinking. Russia, oh my God, he's going to indoctrinate us. Put our names in his little black book. And then the awful men with the black hats and the black overcoats will come tapping at the door in yellow light. And they'll say, Boris is your good friend Russia. You want to tell us all about his secret sex life with the member of parliament and the mayor.
Let me get you all another drink. Yes, please, be my guest. Waiter!
Escondido em meu pensamento de quem nasceu para te amar. A verdade queres esconder, não dizes, eu adivinho. Só me tentas convencer que temos de percorrer.
Amorisco, saber se estou fazendo amor, escusami. Non ho capito la siente, io soffrirai. Amori, bésame. Arrivederci, amore, bésame. Si tú lo piensas, serás mi corazón.
And I am telling you, we're definitely in the wrong ball game with this, chummy. That's a professional, a Moscow Center trained hood. The way he sets himself. That alone.
Well, if you're right. Okay, you know. He'd be quite a catch, wouldn't he?
We scalp hunters are expressly forbidden to trawl for double agents. New orders from above. At the first smell of the opposition, abandon and drop hot potato into ample lap of London Station. Nope, I'm cabling Gwilym no sale and booking myself a flight home.
Okie dokie, Ricky. And since the job is finished, let us seal it, so to speak.
Nags me a bit, though, this Boris. Makes his rounds every night, does he?
Never missed yet. I told you, my boys.
Well, before I go, I might just take a peep inside Boris's kennel. See what's under the mattress. Can't be any harm in that, can there?
Orders is orders.
I like keeping my hand in. It's been quiet lately. You can get rusty.
Well, enjoy yourself, my son. But don't break any eggs, Ricky, please. I have to live here. Remember?
Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain. Boris?
Good question, lady. Where is Boris? This is his room, right? And believe me, lady, I wish you no harm. I'm sorry if I frightened you. You caught me by surprise, I can tell you. I wasn't expecting a lady, just Boris.
I'm his wife. What are you doing
Now,
here?
look, I don't want to upset you.
Does my husband know you?
No point in pussyfooting, lady. Well, it's this way. Your Boris walked off with my girl tonight, and that's one diabolical liberty. And to add insult to injury, he'd been drinking on my white. So I thought I'd come up here and have a word with Boris. Sorry, but that's the way it is. Thanks for not screaming the place down.
You should be careful what you say about my husband. He's an important man. He has influential friends.
You frightened me off, Mrs. Boris. I got quite a name for looking after myself. I'm your original Australian self-made success story. Rags to riches and punching all the way. Bureaucrats don't scare me, not even the bloody Russian kind.
Don't call me Mrs. Boris. My name's Irina.
I'm Tony Lawrence.
Are you?
Yeah, Tony Lawrence. You just mentioned that name in Adelaide. I'm in car sales, property, frozen foods. You know, if I was Boris, I wouldn't be out at night chasing other blokes' women. I wouldn't feel the need.
Boris is Boris. And Lawrence? Someone else. I don't know anything about Australia. Perhaps somewhere tomorrow. The evening?
Are you sure you don't want something stronger? You look as if it might help. Oh, don't misunderstand me, Irina. You look great. Really lovely. I just meant it might relax you. You know, you seem more scared now than you were last night. That can't be me.
I'm not supposed to do this. Meet people. Talk without official approval. I'm not free to do that.
Where's the harm? Just two strangers in a foreign land getting to like each other. It's normal behavior.
I do special work. I travel as a trade delegate in my own right. Textiles. I'm highly trained, experienced. Tired of it. I hate it. I want to escape from it.
Textiles.
It's like a prison. I need someone to help me. Can be quite brave, Lawrence.
Tony.
I shall call you Lawrence. Colonel Lawrence. Like Lawrence of Arabia?
He was English.
I know. There's an English expression. It takes one to spot one. You wouldn't have fooled me for long, even without putting those wedges in the door. It's the way we look for things, isn't it? We don't stare. We don't seem to be looking. We are not like tourists, or prostitutes, or pickpockets. We just know how to see. Paris isn't as good as he ought to be. He enjoys showing off too much, so he misses things. He missed you, didn't he? But you didn't miss him, did you, Colonel? Are you very good?
The best. God gave me all the talents. Try me.
I like being in the presence of Christianity. I understand why some women become nuns. Give themselves. Their whole lives given. Willingly. There's freedom in that. I've met Christians I've envied very deeply. Envy is a sin, I know that. But I confess it here in this holy place. There, Christians were being interrogated. The worst time to see people. And the best sometimes. I'm studying the Bible. Secretly, of course. That isn't freedom. Come unto me, all you who are heavy laden. Is that it? Do you know how it goes on?
There's a village below here, right by the sea, very quiet. We could take a room. Would you like that? How long have you worked with Boris?
They made us a team a long time ago. He's a specialist in picking up foreign businessmen from Moscow Center. I look after communications for him, for special calls. Couldn't we be a team? You could take me to England. That's what I want, Lawrence. You could. I know something. Something so important. It's one of the biggest secrets ever. It will make you so famous. But it's so secret.
Tell me. Tell me, Irina.
I'm frightened.
I can look after you. You'll be safe.
I can only speak to your chief. I mean, I'll nobody else. It's too dangerous. I can only speak to Adeline.
Tell me.
Only the head of the circus. To go back now. They'll be looking for me. There's too much to tell now. Maybe tomorrow. Again. Cemetery. Come on, Lawrence.
We can talk in the car.
Tomorrow. There's too much. Be calm. Tonight they'll notice. I drink too much sometimes. They are used to that. Some of the priests are drunkards. They told me that at school. When I was still in Moscow, before I started traveling with Paris, I had a relationship with a filing clerk at the center, in Dzerzhinsky Square. We went against regulations. We used to meet outside. He was very sweet. Your looks remind me of him. His name was Ivlov, and he told me a story. He was frightened too. But sometimes if you know something that's so big, so secret, you have to tell it to someone. It has to be someone you love. Like I'm telling you now.
It's all right, darling. It's all right.
Have you heard of Karla? He's an old fox, the most cunning of them all at the center. And he works so secretly that some people don't even know he exists. This story Ivlov told me concerns one of Karla's greatest conspiracies. And it is happening in England. Do you know what is meant by the word mole? Yes. Moles burrow very deep into the fabric of Western imperialism. They are very dear to Moscow Center because it may take 15 or even 20 years before they are used. Well, my friend Ivlov told me he had worked in London. His cover was as a driver at the embassy.
Do you have a name to give me?
Ivlov's work name in London was Lapin. He didn't know it meant rabbit in French. It fitted because at the embassy he was supposed to be just a nobody, serving drinks with women at receptions. But all the time, he was the secret right-hand man to Colonel Gregor Viktorov. And Viktorov is the agent who briefs and debriefs them all.
His name, Irina.
In London, Viktorov's cover is cultural attaché, known as Polyakov. I'm so frightened, so tired. You must take me home with you. We could be happy.
Finish the story. Who's the mole? Where is he?
I can only speak to Adeline. We are in danger. You must get me to him. Face to face with the head of the circus. Nothing else is safe.
You trust me, don't you?
I want you.
Adeline will take some persuading.
Tell him I have information crucial to the well-being of the circus. Use those words.
Morning, Tufty. Can I come and play with your toys?
I thought you'd finish your holes, Ricky. What must they be thinking back home?
It'll be all right. Got a postcard to send them. They're going to love me for it.
Thank you. How much are you going to tell me?
The message is graded flash to London Station and by hand of duty officer only.
Drastic stuff, eh? That's maximum security limit. What did you get on Morris? It's your show, my son. Nothing for you, Ricky. Again.
Supplied date of intake into Moscow Center. Name her present head of section. Also name previous sections employing her. Also, someone's stalling. But if that's what they want...
Lawrence, listen, I'm talking to you. This is my gift for you in case they take me away before I can speak to Adeline. I would prefer to give you my life, Lawrence. But I think it more likely that this wretched secret will be all I have to make you happy. Use it well. I started to tell you about Ivlov, who's known in London, or used to be, as Lapin, and about Viktorov, who's really Polyakov. The mole in London is known by the code name of Gerald. There are many remarkable measures to preserve his security, the most secret imaginable. Written reports from Gerald to Carla in Moscow Center are cut in two and sent by separate couriers, even after coding. And Gerald's output has sometimes been almost too much for Polyakov to handle. Some of it is spoken onto tape at secret meetings and can only be played back on special machines. And there is also undeveloped film, and anyone opening the reels the wrong way destroys it immediately. Lawrence, this is the secret I'm giving you, with all my love. The mole Gerald is a high functionary in British intelligence, very close to the head of the circus. Lawrence, I fear for the safety of anyone employed by the circus. Take care with this knowledge. I'm telling you this because I'm afraid it's all finished for me. The guards have started watching me like animals. Have you been indiscreet, Lawrence? Did you tell them in London more than you let me think? Now you understand why only Alleline would do. But do not blame yourself.
Will they let us live in Scotland, Lawrence? I've read everything about Scotland. It's the Garden of Eden, isn't it?
Well, there's a bit at the end.
Read it.
In my heart I am free. Deep inside me burns a new and blessed light. I used to think that the secret world was a separate place and I was banished forever to an island of half people. But God has shown me we have only to open the door and step outside to be free. Lawrence, you must always long for the light which I have found. It is called love. Now I shall take this to our secret place while there is still time. Lawrence, why could you remember so few prayers from your childhood? Your father must have been a great and good man. And that's it. See, she was great.
I take it that's not the original notebook.
No, sir.
Where is it?
Well, I put it straight back in the dead letter box once I'd copied it.
And then?
I had this idea I'd try the airport. You know, just on the off chance. Well, put it this way, sir, I had to know. I got hold of a little Italian air hostess, and she liked the look of me, see. She told me an unscheduled Soviet plane had taken off 2 or 3 hours before. The center of attraction was a woman invalid, a lady in a coma. They had to cart her to the plane on a stretcher, and her face was wrapped in bandages. The rest of the party was made up of 2 male nurses and a doctor. Now, I didn't let it go at that, Mr. Smiley. No, I checked the hotel. No Arena, no Boris.
My musical daughters.
Perhaps she really was ill. Not much more than 24 hours between your first telegram and Irina's departure. You can hardly lay it at London's door on that timing.
Well, you can, just. If someone in London had very good footwork. And in Moscow, too, of course.
That's what I told myself, sir. I mean what you said. My very words, Mr. Smiley. Well, I figured the Russians could have tumbled to it about her having it off with me, or else she'd started blabbing to Boris just to pay him off for boozing and whoring all the time. But then I thought, no, come on, Ricky. That was gold she was giving you. Remember how she had to sweat it out of herself? I figured they'd give her another going over on the plane, then the big boys would pile in first thing after touchdown. I figured not more than a day or two before Moscow Center had a footpad round to the cemetery.
So you made yourself scarce.
He panicked and went native. Istanbul, so he says. Playing the loving father with a daughter called Danny.
That's right. Danny's my little kid.
The mother seems to be leader of the pack as far as his numerous wives are concerned just now.
You've been away for 3 months. Why choose this particular moment to come to us?
Go on.
Did something frighten you?
Someone looking for me.
Who?
I didn't stop to find out. That's why I came.
No, Ricky. Passports. Who are you at the moment?
Pooh, British. Well, I reckon Lawrence wasn't exactly the flavor of the month in Moscow, so I had that run up. It's not bad for the money.
When he went to Lisbon, he had 2 Swiss escapes. One for him, one for Boris.
What did you do with them? How did you get rid of them?
Burn them.
And how did you get back to England?
Soft route via Dublin. I've given Mr. Quillen the details.
I'm doing what I can to check.
Well, you be damn careful, baby, because I don't want the wrong people on my back. Took my gun away, too. He shouldn't have done that, should he, Mr. Smiley?
Why did you go to Mr. Gwilym? Didn't it cross your mind he might turn you straight over to Alaline?
Mr. Gwilym's my boss. Besides, I don't figure he's got any more liking for the new arrangements at the circus than you have, Mr. Smiley.
We don't need that, Tar. He kept well out of sight. As soon as he gave me his story, I rang Sir Oliver from a call box. I rang him here, not London. Well, damn it, there was no reason to suppose the phone was tapped.
There was every reason. It's very unusual for Moscow Center to use a husband and wife team. Hard to believe. Unless, of course, they had children in Moscow. Hostages.
They have.
It's true. Common law marriage. Unofficial, but permanent.
There's a lot the other way around these days, believe it or not, Mr. Smiley.
Fit, George? Natter? Garden?
Super.
Paul? When you came to me 6 months ago talking about a mole in the circus, I'm afraid I threw you out. I was remiss.
You instructed me to abandon my inquiries because they were unconstitutional.
Oh, is that the word I used? How very pompous of me. You never had any, did you?
What?
Children. You and Anne.
No.
I have to admit I didn't absolutely trust your motives. I rather thought control had put you up to it, you see, as a way of hanging on to the power, keeping Percy Alaline out.
There are 3 of them, and Alaline. Control's words. The composition of the now all-powerful London station. Bill Hayden, Roy Bland, Toby Esterhazy, 3 of them, and Alaline.
Yes, quite, but at the time, George. After all, we both held perfectly honourable positions. You felt Jim Prideaux had been betrayed in that shoot-up in Czechoslovakia and you wanted a witch hunt. My minister and I felt there'd been gross incompetence on the part of control. We wanted a new broom. A view which the Foreign Office shared, to put it mildly.
Oh, I quite understand your dilemma.
Thank you. It isn't every day the head of one's secret service embarks on a private war against the Czechs. And don't forget, George, you were Control's man. He preferred you to Hayden. When he lost his grip and launched that extraordinary misadventure, it was you who fronted for him. You were in the hot seat. You had to go. It wasn't as if you offered a suspect. Remember the circumstances, George. All in all, I'd say Percy Alaline has done extremely well.
With Bill Hayden to field for him, who wouldn't?
He's produced intelligence instead of scandal and won the trust of his customers.
That special sauce of Percy's, it produced the witchcraft material. Is that still running?
Since you ask, yes. Sauce Merlin is our mainstay. And yes, the name of his product is witchcraft. The circus hasn't produced such good material in living memory. In mine, anyway.
Does it still get the same special handling?
Certainly. And now precautions will have to be more rigorous than ever, won't they?
No, Gerald the Mole would soon latch on to that.
Of course he would. We can't move, can we? We can't investigate because we can't employ the circus. We can't eavesdrop or watch or open mail because to do any of that we need the services of Esther Hazy's lamplighters. And Esther Hazy is suspect like the others. It's the oldest question of all, George. Who can spy on the spies?
Get the security mob in. They'll do a job for you.
They know the minister won't have that. Rightly, too. A lot of ex-colonial bobbies flying through the circus files. It's a serious point, George. We do have agents in the field, and I wouldn't give much for their chances once the security gentlemen come barging in.
How many do we have?
600, give or take a few. Plus 120 behind the Iron Curtain. So I can't tell the minister you'll do it, can I? You'll take the job, clean the stables, go backwards, go forwards, do whatever's necessary. It's your generation, after all. Your legacy.
I never heard of anyone yet who had left the circus without some unfinished business.
There's no emotional or other reason which you feel might debar you from the assignment. You must speak up, George.
The state of my marriage must be very common knowledge if it's got as far down the line as Ricky Tarr. For the record, the thing with Anne and Bill Hayden is long over. My wife's present infatuation is with a young actor, currently unemployed.
There's always that part of us that belongs to the public domain, isn't it? You always knew that, I'm sure. So did Jim Prideaux.
What does that mean?
Well, good Lord, George, a bullet in the back is held to be quite a sacrifice, isn't it? Even in your world.
2 bullets, actually.
They were at Oxford together, weren't they? Bill and Jim. And stablemates at the circus, the famous Hayden-Prideaux partnership. The iron fist in the iron glove, somebody once called it. Prideaux was far too old for that Czechoslovakian nonsense.
It made no difference.
Oh, quite.
I shall need some help. Remember Controls Man, Mendel?
Yes, of course. If he's the chap you want.
The table's Georgian, so you will love it for me, won't you, Mr. Barraclough? I shouldn't lend it to you, really. It was the Major's.
I'm very grateful, I'm sure.
Everything all right, Mr. Barraclough?
Yes, fine.
We'll leave you in peace, then.
I shall want every scrap. And you've known me long enough. Times of entry and exit, who comes, who goes, and most of all, more important than you can possibly imagine, this.
Any suspicious characters taking an interest or putting questions to your staff under any pretext.
Even if they say they're the Guards Armoured and Sherlock Holmes rolled into one.
There's only me and Norman, Inspector. And they won't get far with Norman, will they, dear? You're too sensitive.
Same with any incoming letters for him. I shall want to see postmarks and times posted, where legible. And one thing more. There'll be objects which now and again he's going to ask to be lodged in the safe. Mainly there'll be papers. And there's only one person allowed to look at those objects apart from him, and that's me. Don't try fiddling with them, because he's sharp. And you've known me long enough.
Now, Ricky Tarr's cables to the circus were detailed and specific. He was required by London Station to submit copious background on Irina, names of former contacts, acquaintances inside Moscow Center. There should be a file of some size, and we need to see it.
That's circus material, George. I can deliver only from the minister.
I know that look, George. I'm breaking into the circus, am I? Playing burglar Bill?
If you wouldn't mind, Peter. And while you're enjoying yourself, I shall visit Oxford to look up an old and invaluable friend.
Please, don't take any unnecessary risks.
To be